I'm going to ask Matt to come down, Matt Tebbutt, who is the Green Party parliamentary candidate for this constituency. Left in the room. 2 weeks ago, I was shocked by the murder of 3 children in South Korea. This event, plus the misinformation that followed, was a trigger for the racist and Islamophobic rioting we have seen since. But the conditions for these riots have been created by decades of divisive rhetoric and scapegoating by our politicians and media. Firstly, let's talk about the misinformation. This was not the first tragedy befall our country, and sadly this pattern has become clear. When a heinous crime is committed by somebody white and British, there is collective shock and mourning. When a heinous crime is committed by somebody from a different ethnic background, nationality, there is collective shock, mourning, and there is sadly an all too inevitable backlash of racist and abuse which communities have collectively responsible for the appalling crimes of individuals. But the attacks in Southport had a new and disturbing twist on this familiar story. The far right did not even wait to find out the identity of the attacker before a hate-fueled backlash began. Misinformation spread like wildfire online, and those hoping to use tragedy to incite further violence, creating an identity and backstory before police announced any real details. This is sick. Anyone would make up these details to fuel hatred. That anyone would capitalise on tragedy to further a narrative of hatred. This is sick. This is responsible for spreading misinformation, fueling hatred and inciting violence, must be held accountable for their actions. And then came the riots. Such organised, political, racist and Islamophobic violence is totally unacceptable, and those responsible must face justice. We stand in solidarity with all who are being attacked, threatened or intimidated by the fascist violence. This is not who we are. The horrific scenes playing out on the streets across the country do not represent the views of the majority of people in Chorley or elsewhere in the UK. The rise of the far right has been fueled by misinformation, but also by toxic public climate that seeks to scapegoat the most vulnerable among us. Immigrants, refugees, minorities have become convenient targets, blamed for issues that are in reality a result of systematic failures and policy decisions. When Theresa May, as Home Secretary, sent Home Office vans around London emblazoned with "Go Home," she legitimised far-right views. When Suella Braverman said the immigrants threatened the country's nationalist character, she legitimised far-right views. When the Daily Mail compares refugees to rats, they legitimise far-right views. Instead of adopting the far-right rhetoric to stem the flow of votes, Nigel Farage's latest political party, we need politicians to stand up to racism and celebrate diversity. I hope our new government will speak with one voice in celebrating and defending Muslim citizens and asylum seekers and their place in our society. Finally, let me say thank you to everybody who's turned out today. The vast majority of people in Chorley support their neighbours, whatever colour of their skin and whatever their religion they follow. We will stand shoulder to shoulder with those most directly threatened by this hatred and show that our community is stronger than those who want to divide us. Thank you.